You're watching Alaska's news source.
We begin with breaking news tonight. A small aircraft went down into the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. All takeoffs and landings are halted at the Ronald Reagan National Airport. Now, multiple helicopters, including those from the U.S. Park Police and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department and the U.S. military, are flying over the scene. D.C. Fire and EMS said on X that fireboats are also there. The airport said emergency personnel were responding to what they're calling an aircraft incident on the airfield. Video from an observation camera at the nearby Kennedy Center shows two sets of lights consistent with aircraft appearing to conjoin in a fireball. We will continue to watch this evening. And it has been more than 24 hours since the F-35 crash at Eielson Air Force Base. Now we're looking at the next steps. A picture of the crash is on your screen. The military is saying tonight the pilot has been released from the hospital and confirms the plane was an F-35 Lightning II. Now, we talked with two experts, a former pilot and crash investigation expert, to learn more. Dr. Jeff Edwards says a board is being assembled to investigate. An internal report should be issued within 30 days. And a former pilot, Anthony Burke, who was not involved in the crash, explained the possible mindset of the pilot before ejection.
I have no doubt that the training has not changed in substance. The Air Force way is written in blood. And, we are an organization that constantly is trying to get just a little bit better every day. But there's no doubt in my mind that that pilot was extremely well trained. He was, qualified to fly that airplane. He knew exactly what he was doing. And if he ejected from it, he did it for all the right reasons.
Hear from the experts and read the full story. It's on our website. And a day after the governor's seventh state of the state, some Alaskan Democrats raised concerns over the governor's messaging. Now, the governor promised a comprehensive education bill that would be more than just funding. Senator Bill Bulikowski.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Chris Welch in New York. We are coming on the air with breaking news out of Washington, D.C., where a commercial airliner has collided with a helicopter in midair while on approach to Reagan National Airport. The plane then crashed into the Potomac River. It was an American Airlines flight that departed from Wichita, Kansas. And we have the following statement from the FAA. They tell us a PSA Airlines regional jet collided in midair with a Sikorsky H-60 helicopter while on approach to runway 33 at Reagan Washington National Airport around 9 p.m. local time. PSA was operating flight 5342 for American Airlines. It departed from Wichita, Kansas. The FAA and NTSB will be investigating. The NTSB will lead the investigation. We will provide updates as information comes in. We can tell you the Sikorsky H-60 is a family of military helicopters built by Sikorsky Aircraft, also known more commonly as the Black Hawk. We now have our own CBS's Chris Van Cleve, our senior transportation correspondent, on the phone. Chris, what can you tell us?
Well, we understand there is an active rescue operation underway to try to get whoever may be in the water out of the Potomac River after what appears to be a collision between the CRJ 700. It would have been operating as an American Airlines flight, would have been painted as American Eagle. It's operated by PSA, which is an airline owned by American Airlines, and a military Black Hawk helicopter. This area is not far from Bolling Air Force Base. It's right across the river from Washington Reagan. It appears that as this plane was coming into land, not far from the airport at all, on final approach, it somehow collided with a helicopter. D.C. Fire, D.C. Police are on scene. Coast Guard is on scene. You have a lot of resources rushing there to see who they can help to get them out of the water. It is about 37 degrees outside in Washington. You're coming out of a very cold stretch there. That is very cold water. Time is of the essence. Chris, we're talking about a commercial airline crash. This is something that we've not talked about in the United States since a regional flight in Buffalo in 2009. This was an unparalleled period of aviation safety that appears to have come to an end tonight.
And Chris, I don't know if you can see the screen, the images that we're looking at right there, right now, but it appears that just a massive response from emergency EMS crews, fireboats, and the likes. And we also understand, Chris, I believe you're probably aware as well that DCA Airport has been shut down for the better part of what, since this happened, I don't even know, about a half an hour ago?
Correct. They are going to suspend operations while the search is ongoing. The most important thing right now is that search. You don't want to complicate it with air traffic coming in and out of that airport. There are few regions in the country better equipped to respond to a major alert like this than the Washington, D.C. area. You're going to have a flood of resources. The question is now, can they get to people who survived what appears to be a midair collision just outside of Washington Reagan Airport over the Potomac River tonight?
Just remarkable images there. All right, Chris Van Cleve, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We will be following all the details on this developing story. We're going to keep you updated as we learn more. Our coverage will continue on CBS News 24/7, your local news, and on CBS Mornings. This has been a CBS News Special Report. I'm Chris Welch in New York.
The bill moved quickly through the new Congress with bipartisan support.
And this is a very important law. This is something that has brought Democrats and Republicans together. That's not easy to do. Lakin did it. Lakin did it. America will never, ever forget Lakin Hope Riley.
46 Democrats joined all Republicans in favor. The measure also passed the Senate last week in a 64-35 vote. 12 Democrats breaking with their party to back it. And Juneau rumors dispelled after possible reports of U.S. Immigrations and Custom Enforcement agents detaining people in town. Juneau police say despite social media posts, the department has not received any reports of that happening. JPD says if you see this happening, make a report with the department immediately. After Monday's fatal crash on the Seward Highway near Portage, we're asking what makes those roads so dangerous. Of course, it's a narrow, undivided highway with few pull-offs. Parts of it are prone to landslides and avalanches. And the Alaska Department of Transportation warns weather along the highway can be unpredictable.
You want to make sure that you're prepared for the conditions. Take your time driving. It is not a section to be in a hurry on.
Most fatal crashes and ones with serious injuries happen in December. The Department of Transportation urges drivers to stick to the speed limit. Still ahead, preparing for a big deployment to Poland in tonight's Inside the Gates. We look at what Alaskan soldiers are planning to do in that part of the world when they're leaving.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
The Alaska Army National Guard is deploying abroad. This week, Quinn White takes us inside the gates to learn about their mission.
A group of about 80 Alaska Army National Guard soldiers are preparing to deploy to Poland.
We also had many volunteers, people who said they really wanted to do this mission. Everybody's very excited, very motivated to do the work.
It's not their typical deployment. These soldiers will be joining thousands of other troops in the region to manage facility maintenance on various bases, as well as coordinating with military contractors.
It's not all about conflict, and a lot of it's about hospitality. How much good can we put out rather than the negative a lot of people focus back on? There's a lot of positive we can really put out there and show a different face of a military rather than something that's more of a defensive element.
These soldiers will leave next month for Poland. Their mission is part of Operation Atlantic Resolve, which has been active in the region supporting NATO since 2014, helping connect the United States with its allies.
We can succeed together as a team because that's where we're going to be our strongest.
Not a goodbye, but a see you later. Quinn White, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.